Good evening. Welcome to what is the Monday evening update on Hurricane Isaias here. It has just become re-intensified into a hurricane per the recon data. If you look at the recon data, you can see they found hurricane force winds in this northwestern eye wall here and thus found, or northeastern eye wall here, and thus found proof for the storm to have been re-intensified into a hurricane. You can also see the pressure has gone down since yesterday as this has advanced northward. This has kind of been gradually organizing all day. If you look at radar here, you can see what is now a well-defined eye structure of sorts here. This is still elongated. This is not a very strong hurricane, but it is a hurricane, and it is going to be bringing heavy weather to a large portion of the population in the eastern United States here, and this is going to affect a lot of people. So if you look at the Morehead City, North Carolina radar here, courtesy of Mark Nissenbaum, you can see bands are already coming on shore to the projected landfall area. This will be, you can see the center down here is going to be moving to the north-northeast and making landfall somewhere along this stretch of coast here. But you can see bands are already coming in, and some of these have already produced tornadoes as they have rotated on shore. This is a problem with storms that are approaching. If you are in the right front quadrant or out ahead of the system in general, there is a risk for tornadoes here, and so there is a tornado watch up for this region. And these bands will advance north as the storm advances north. So expect tornadic cells to be coming on shore here and be watching for warnings as this does come through. Next, if you look at the 5-day cone here, you can see the extent of all the tropical storm warnings here, all the way from South Carolina coast all the way up into the now Maine, New England coast here. This is going to be affecting the entire mid-Atlantic and New England region, as this storm will inflate as it gains latitude. And if you go back, you can see the storm is already becoming larger, and this will eventually be able to produce tropical storm force winds no matter how far inland it is in here, because it will be being baroclinically forced by this jet to be able to remain strong as it undergoes extratropical transition. So all along this area of coast here, you can expect near hurricane force gusts or high-end tropical storm force gusts here, and maybe hurricane force gusts in some areas. You all need to be on guard here as the storm comes ashore. Another problem is going to be storm surge. You can see as of the 5 p.m. advisory per the National Hurricane Center here, you can see that the storm surge values actually were increased for the North Carolina, or the southern North Carolina coastline and the northern South Carolina coastline. That's a tongue twister. And you can see that if you are in these areas, especially from the 2 to 4 foot range of storm surge here, you need to be watching for, if you are in a flood zone, you do need to be getting into higher ground and be aware of what storm surge can do. Storm surge is the deadliest hazard out of all hurricane hazards that are presented when the storm comes ashore. Do be very wary as this comes through tonight and early tomorrow morning. Another problem will be the rain, and you can see this very large swath of 4 to 6 inches of rain that are going to be falling as this storm continues up through the eastern coast here, and you can see there's a flash flood potential for this entire area here. These rains will be falling very quickly as the storm comes north. This is going to be jetting through here. You can see if you look at the 5-day cone, this is not going to take a whole lot of time to get through here. So you can imagine the rain rates are going to be very high. You can see this is out of the area on Wednesday or late Tuesday night. This is not going to be sitting here for very long. So in order for this amount of rain to happen, it must be very high rain rates that are going to be affecting your area. So water will rise fast. You need to be aware. If you are in a flood-prone area, please do have a plan as this does come through the mid-Atlantic here. And One last thing that you need to be watching is for gusts in here. Power outages will be widespread along the coast and maybe a little bit inland. Pretty much anywhere that is under a tropical storm warning, if you go back to here, there are inland tropical storm warnings as well, so don't just think that it's just going to be affecting the coast. But this entire stretch of coast here needs to be wary that there is likely to be power outages within this kind of circled region that I'm circling here. You need to be watching for power outages and have a plan in place for if things do go south. It's going to be hot after this comes through. This is not a cakewalk. This is going to be a hurricane and a strong tropical storm all the way through its trek through the United States here. And you see this does not weaken to a depression until it is way up in Canada. So do be aware. Gusts can get to hurricane force, especially on the coast. And if you're a little bit inland, you're still probably going to get 60-mile-per-hour gusts, which are enough to do tree damage and structural damage. And just please do be wary. Do not be incompetent. Okay? This is going to be pretty serious. This is an early season hurricane. It's very early still for this to happen, but you do need to be on guard as this does come up through your area. As always, stay safe, and thanks for watching.